Laying ceramic tile is quite a simple job. By doing the correct preparation and following a few basic rules, excellent results can be achieved and you won't be spending a fortune in labor.
We're laying the tiles onto a concrete surface in this case. I've checked that it's flat and without large cracks, and so I'll begin to mark the floor. In a square room, the most professional looking finish will be achieved by setting the first line of tiles exactly down the center of the room. Using a tape measure, determine the center point between the two walls on the one side of the room and make a mark at that point. Then do the same on the other side of the room and once again mark that point. Join the 2 points by applying a chalk line down the length of the room. The cost of a chalk line ranges from about $5 upwards. If you're not going into tiling professionally, an inexpensive chalk line will do the job quite well. Now that I have a line exactly down the center of the room, I'm going to stripe 2 more lines, each exactly half a tile width from the center line. To do this, mark the center point of a tile on all 4 edges. Place this tile on one side of the room with 2 of your marks exactly on the chalk line and mark the floor. I use a pencil or sharp pointed marker for the best accuracy. Now place the tile on the other side of the room and mark the floor in the same way. Stripe another chalk line between each of the marks. When I get to lay the center row of tiles, I'll spread the adhesive between these lines to help me to work neatly. In the same way, I'll measure the center points between the other 2 walls and stripe a line to determine the center point of the room. There are other methods of establishing the center point of the room, but this way of working is easy and can be done by one person using a spare tile to hook the end of the chalk line onto. Once again, I'll stripe 2 lines half a tile width from the second center line.
Now we need to ensure that the lines are square. From the center point, measure 90 centimeters along the one line and mark that point exactly. Along the other line and from your center point, measure 120 centimeters exactly. Now place your measure at 0 on the one point and move it over the second point. The reading should be exactly 150 centimeters. If it is not, your lines are not square and will have to be adjusted until you're satisfied that the 2 are square. This is vital to the correct layout of the tiles.
Now dry lay a line of tiles in between these lines to check that everything will line up correctly. Dry laying means placing the tiles onto the floor without using any adhesive, and we do this to check that our layout is going to work. Place 2 plastic spacers between the tiles, close to each end of the tile, to create the correct gap. Tiling is a pretty dirty job, so old work clothes are recommended. It's also very hard on the knees. A floor pad or knee pads will provide protection and prevent bruised and sore knees at the end of the day.
Floor pads can be found in garden centers and hardware stores in spring and summer, but are often out of stock in autumn and in winter. Knee pads are fine if you're wearing long trousers, but the straps tend to chafe the back of your legs if you're wearing shorts. And laying tiles is hot and physical, so shorts are definitely more comfortable. Using a pencil or marker pen, stripe a line at the end of the last tile on each side. Now we can see the width of the tiles that we'll need between the end of the line and the wall. They should be approximately the same on both sides of the room, which will make cutting end tiles easier when we get to that stage. Measure the distance to each wall, and if they match up, you're ready to lay the tiles.
Well, our room is marked and we're ready to start laying the tiles. Pretty easy so far, but it's vital to the final look of the room to get this right.